okay to love yourself when you're being told at 19, so 5 years ago, that you have an autoimmune disease and that you need to be put on infusions just to prevent you from relapsing. Now at that point, how do you love yourself? How do you love yourself knowing that your body, well, it's only going to be able to function by taking this immunosuppressive drug called Ocrevus? Hey guys, so in this video I really want to be talking about fighting self-love with taking my disease-modifying therapy. And why I wanted to be talking about this is because it wasn't until my last infusion, which I just had about almost 2 weeks ago, where I feel like I finally came to peace with myself. So in this video, I thought I could break it down into a few points, talking about some of the symptoms I still continue to experience and how I've been fighting my self-love throughout this whole journey of having multiple sclerosis. But yeah, so before I begin this video, you guys are already gonna know what I'm about to say, and that's to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I'm so close to 4K, well kind not really, but it's 500 away, it's not that far, but it is. Go and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And for now, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Actually, it wasn't until mid last year where I began my journey with self-love. Call me self-centered, I don't care. But sometimes you just have to love yourself and just not always just have to rely on someone or something just to keep pushing through, even when you can feel yourself just spiraling down again. Because that's what I was going through. And yeah. It wasn't until this year where I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to keep other people happy when the people that I'm trying to keep happy doesn't even include myself. And that wasn't anyone's fault but mine. It was my fault because I've just always been the kind of person to care about other people before I cared about myself. My infusions are meant to prevent me from relapsing, right? But had I had that self-love to begin with, I wouldn't have felt so defeated over the fact that my body was so goddamn dependent on Ocrevus, because without it, well, I just can't function. Then again, self-love isn't something you're really taught. Self-love is something that you just need to learn to have at any stage in life. But I mean, no one's really going to tell you that, right? So if you're watching my video right now, I just hope that if I can get a message sent across, it's that you guys have self-love. That you have self-love with everything that you may be going through, because honestly, having self-love will help you when you've hit your rock bottom. Having an overactive bladder was not something that was going to be fixed by taking Ocrevus, and it took me a while to realize this because self-love was what I needed with having an overactive bladder, because Ocrevus, well, it wasn't going to be fixing my problems. So what did that really mean for me? I would always wet myself and take a shit while being on dates, and the guys would notice and they would end up ghosting me because I was just a weirdo. Now, had Ocrevus made my OAB symptoms disappear, and had I not had an overactive bladder anymore, I probably would have been able to love myself a lot more easier, right? For me, having that self-love was so difficult for me, just even being on dates, because I didn't know how to accept myself as I was because the other people around me were not really accepting me. So like the dates I was going on. And that was hard for me to love myself because you start to grow like all these insecurities of not knowing why you're just not the norm. I didn't have that self-love. Like, who in the right mind would be wetting themselves outside in public? Is what I was thinking in 2017 when I was first going through an overactive bladder. But it's like, to me, all of this was so new, right? And because I didn't love myself, it's like I just didn't understand why I was wetting myself when I wasn't supposed to. I still remember all of those moments in university where the university I went to was about like an hour and a few minutes away, and every single time I would go, it's like at the halfway point I would end up wetting myself, and because I didn't come across pull-ups or diapers at that point, I wasn't wearing protection, so I would wet myself and I would have to go back home, and then I would make another attempt to get to my class, wet myself again, and I wouldn't even end up going on class. The amount of classes I missed, I don't even know, but all I know is that walking, even to this day, triggers my overactive bladder like times a billion, because I will wet myself just like that. That's why I don't really wet myself in bed a lot in comparison to outside, because when you're sleeping, you're not walking. With my walking, Ocrevus wasn't going to be helping me with that either, so this just gets into my next point. Having to experience difficulties with walking for over 5 years now, has honestly just become the norm to me. But if there's anything multiple sclerosis has taught me, it's that when you're about to fall down or when you're tripping, it's about knowing how to fall down. Because if you don't, things like this happen.
I was walking down sidewalk and like so much construction is happening, right? And yes, I'm like a mess right now, but literally my white shirt, this, and somehow I can feel that, and this hurts. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever hurt myself this bad, but I literally fell on the road. It's like, come on, like, old people go through that all the time. It's like, you need to fix the sidewalk.
Fix the fucking sidewalk or just start using a cane pre? Now, how are you to love yourself when you were that one person that always fell and tripped on absolutely nothing outside in public? In the midst of falling down, it's like you do all of these leg movements trying not to fall down, but it's like you just end up on the ground because you just start to get stressed out, and in the middle of all of this, you're also peeing and taking a shit, but it's like so much goes on in 1 second. Damn. It took me a while to use a cane because I always believed that Ocrevus was going to help me walk one day. And after every single infusion I've had, after every 5 or 6 months for the past 5 years, it didn't. It didn't help me, and I had the hardest time accepting that. All I really needed to have was not just a self-love, but just to take care of my mental health, because mental health is something that not even just me, I feel like a lot of people just kind of like overlook and don't really pay much attention to until they hit rock bottom, kind of like with me. One of the things that kind of really does irritate me actually is the fact that, you know, a lot of people will be like, yeah, Ocrevus is working for you because you haven't relapsed in 5 years. But what's to say that the way I've been eating and the fact that I've been vegan for almost 4 years now isn't also playing a role with why I haven't relapsed yet? Like, sure, the way I'm eating maybe is not going to cure multiple sclerosis because there's no goddamn cure for it, but I feel like my body actually treats me better with eating the way I do. Like, you know what I'm trying to say, right? It's just fighting my self-love at this point, right? Like, with taking Ocrevus as well, my diet was one of the things that I've actually changed. Probably, I would say, almost 2 years after taking Ocrevus, after realizing that Ocrevus wasn't taking away my symptoms, and that at that point I knew I was doing something wrong, in that maybe I had to change something, and my diet was the first thing I thought about. Because prior to going vegan, I was the kind of person who always ate red meat, and even when I ate red meat, my symptoms, I feel like it would just get worse in the moment. So at that point I was like, okay, I need to change my diet because Ocrevus is not helping me. And then I became vegan, and yeah. I've always been deathly allergic to eggs, like since I was born, but why I never went vegan earlier on, guys, I don't even know. I mean, it took me a multiple sclerosis diagnosis to have done that. But yeah, so maybe things do happen for a reason. You'd think that my infusions would help me with my double vision and my nystagmus, but it did not. It still doesn't. But with my nystagmus, one thing I've learned is that I just can't look at the corner at things because then my eyes won't act up. With my double vision, that's one that I actually do struggle with a lot, especially with reading. Like something as simple as like a text message or something, or like a message on Instagram, I'm always having to like take a screenshot of it and zoom in because that's what I do the best. My camera roll isn't of selfies. My camera rolls are of screenshots of things I wasn't able to read. I honestly took like quite a few yesterday too because my eyes were just kind of acting up on me. But yeah, this is just like another one of the things that I just had to over time learn to love myself and be okay with my vision, because it's like things could be worse, right? So that's pretty much it to my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this video because I'd love to hear from you, or even message me on Instagram because that'd be cool too. But yeah, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram and check out my blog. I'll post links down below as always. And I'll see you guys in my next video that will be up soon and will be on a try-on. And yeah, so bye guys. Oh my gosh, I've been having a giggling fit this entire time. Like, I cannot stop. That's another thing Ocrevus is not helping me with.